Hi guys, it's me again, new t-shirt, and I can finally use both my hands because I finally got a place where to position my phone. Um, yeah, so it's a plastic cup from McDonald's. Yeah, from McDonald's. Um, so today I'm speaking into the phone screen, into the camera, because I wanted to talk to you guys about the word essence. It's a pretty cool word. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna try to do that less. All this like sniffing and stuff. I know that it's more of a nervous tick. It's more of a nervous tick than anything else. So I wanted to talk about the word essence because I was thinking about the word essence earlier on today, but before I started thinking about the word essence, I was thinking about the word reticences or reticence, which is RETICENCES, if you're using the plural version of it. Actually, I'm not sure whether this specific word exists in the English lexicon, like in any English dictionary. It probably does, but it also probably might not. I don't know. It's just that, before I was thinking about the word reticence, I was thinking about the word ellipsis, which is a word that exists in the English lexicon. I guess that's it, right? I guess that's my entire train of thought behind how I got to the word essence. So I was thinking about the word ellipsis because in Brazil we use the word ellipsis when we want to talk about the figure of speech of ellipsis. Like, he killed 2 fish and no. Richard killed 2 fish and Mary 4. When you take out this second kill, which is the same word, it's the same verb, it's the same information, that's called an ellipsis. Pepsi. Black. And that's interesting. And I was thinking to myself, we in Brazil, or in general Portuguese, I guess, utilize the word ellipsis for the figure of speech. But we don't use the word ellipsis, or the Brazilian version of it, the Portuguese version of it, ellipse, to signify the dot, the punctuation mark, the punctuation symbol. We don't really use ellipse to signify that the same way that English speakers use the word ellipsis to signify that, the dot. I'm sorry about that. We use the word reticências. I mean, we can also use the term três pontinhos, which literally mean 3 little dots. But if we want to get a little bit more technical about it, we can also use the terminology reticências, which is not like specific terminology. Like most people will understand what you're talking about when you say reticências. They will, inside their little heads, refer to the dot that we all know and love. And yeah. I thought to myself, hey, we don't talk the same, we don't utilize words the same way that English speakers utilize to refer to 2 different concepts. We use one word for one concept and we would use the other word for the other concept. So we use ellipse to signify the figure of speech, and we use reticências to, to signify the dot dot dot, right? The punctuation mark, punctuation symbol. And it's interesting, I started asking myself, because I know that ellipsis comes from Greek, and I don't know anything really about Greek. Like, I tried studying modern, today's, the Greek of our days, but I wasn't really able to get well acquainted with it, and so I just gave up on it. But I know, I don't know, but I am more familiar with Latin, not only because I studied 3 years of it in uni, but also because I speak Portuguese natively, because Brazil, and Portuguese is a Latin-based language, in case you live in a rock and are not aware of that. In other words, it comes from Latin. And so, I am kind of used to the way that Latin words work, and so I was thinking to myself, hold up, reticências, and let's just assume that reticence is a word in the English language. I don't know, I'm gonna search that up afterwards. What's that about? If you take this word and you go back to its Latin roots and you take it apart, you tear the bitch apart, what are you gonna get? I'm sorry. Oops. What are you gonna get? And I didn't know. Like, I knew, I am familiar with the suffix sensius, or sensia, which, in English would be sense. C-E-N-C-E, But I didn't really, which is like, it's a suffix that usually turns a verb into a noun in a sort of way. But I didn't know what the main, part of the word means, which is reti, or, reddit, the root of the word, or the radical of the word, or whatever you want to call it, the part of the word that brings lexical meaning with it, right? But I didn't know what it meant, and I still don't know what it meant. I'm gonna look it up afterwards. I'm gonna try to do that on camera. Then I was like, I was trying to explain to myself, I was thinking inside this little box right here, and I was like, you see the suffix sense in many other words, like essence. And then it hit me, like, I don't know what essence means either. Like, if you take out the NCE suffix, which is the same suffix that appears in reticence, you're going to end up with ESS, E, depending on how you analyze the situation. And it's like, I don't know what that means either. But then it hit me, because I've been studying Italian for a while, and now we're finally getting into the, I don't know, like, what this video is about, or this eureka moment that I had, which I'm not saying that I'm the first one to be having this realization, of course, like, come on, but it's just that, I don't know, it's just something that came to my mind, and I was like, taken aback a bit. And we utilize the word essence in English to describe the essence of something, what that thing fundamentally is. If you take away any part of its essence, or any of its essence, I should say, then it's no longer going to be that thing. It's going to be something else. Something slightly different, something greatly different, but it's still going to be something that is not the same thing that we're trying to describe, right? And so that got me thinking. That has everything to do with the verb to be. Because the verb to be in Portuguese is ser, in Spanish is ser, Catalan is ser, I think that's how you pronounce it. In French it's être, and in Italian it's essere. And I think in Latin, like the infinitive of the verb sum, which means I am, which would be to be, is essere as well, but I'm not sure. I'm also going to look that up afterwards. And I was like, whoa, like English speakers might not be aware of any of that because, they don't have the verb to s or to ser. They have the verb to be, which is a verb that is hugely different. Hugely different in appearance, in like physical, and I'm tired of speaking. It's hugely different when you hear it and when you write it. There isn't a lot of common ground with its Romance language counterparts, such as essere or ser or être. And I was thinking to myself, so essence comes from the suffix nce plus esse, which is to be. Like essere, essence, essere, essence. You know what I mean? I'm looking at myself in the camera right now, and I'm kind of thinking, go to sleep. You've got driving lessons tomorrow. You cannot at 7 a.m. Like you have to go to sleep. It's like midnight right now. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow feeling like death incarnate. And that got me thinking. And so I thought that was a real cool realization because I had never stopped to think about that before. And I think that's one of the cool things about language is that, or linguistic studies, language studies, is that we get to stop and analyze something and come up with philosophies on it and try to answer questions that come up when we stop and think about something that we use all the time, every single day, that is as banalized as language itself. It's as common as the air that we breathe. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the realization that I came to, that I wanted to share with you guys, that I just thought was really interesting. Essence is like the be sense, the being sense, or the beingness of something. It's like the nominalization or the turning into a noun of the verb to be. Because when you describe something's essence, you're describing what it is. I mean, more comprehensibly put, when you describe what something is, you utilize the verb to be. You utilize the verb to be, but you also you end up describing its essence. You end up describing its beingness, like the state of its essential, of its fundamental, of its inextricable state. And I just think that's really cool. I'm gonna stop. Oh yeah. I was gonna say I'm gonna stop recording because it's been 15 minutes, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna look up essence on Wiktionary.org, which is one of my favorite websites ever, and see if I got it right. I got it right. Look. So etymology, Wiktionary says, from Middle English, essence, from Middle French, essence or essence. I don't know how to pronounce Middle French. From Latin, essentia, which means the being or essence of a thing, which comes from an artificial formation of esse, meaning to be, and yeah, I mean, they don't really describe in the etymology section where the TIA comes from. Esse, to be, to translate ancient Greek ousia, I think that's how you pronounce it, which means being, from on, which is the present participle of ini, which is I am, I exist. And when you go to the Latin entry of essentia in a dictionary, it says, yeah, it doesn't really like talk to you about, it doesn't really tell you where the TIA suffix comes from. Weird, I thought I was gonna find it somewhere. Ultimately from Latin, entia. Oh, here we are. Oh my god, I'm a boomer. I don't know how to use the computer. I don't know how to operate the computer, man. Here it says, used to form a first declension feminine abstract noun, usually from an adjective ending in us, or rarely in later Latin, one ending in ius, or from a present participle stem, and occasionally from a root noun. Affixed to participles, absens, absentia, demens, dementia, valens, valencia, like the city in Spain. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Was I gonna search up anything else? I don't think I was. I should head to bed right now. Like right now it's 11:57 p.m. I have to wake up at 6 a.m. and try not to fall asleep during my driving lessons. That would be abysmal. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys were able to take anything positive from this rant, this monologue, very incoherent rambling. Thank you for watching, and good night, and happy 2025.